A flawed but important sequel. What up everybody, welcome to the channel. I am your host Mike Fury and I make informative videos just like this one, so please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content, and welcome to my review for GTA 4 Complete Edition.
Nico, my cousin! I can't believe it, you're here! Welcome to America!
What motivates you?
I don't care if I live or die. I'm looking for someone.
Don't do anything stupid, cousin! Man, I'm ready for you, Nicky, I'm ready!
I'm the one who survived.
Coming off the amazing success of San Andreas and the PSP exclusives Vice City and Liberty City Stories, Rockstar is in a very particular position for the very first time in their career. How do we make a brand new GTA perfect for the next gen consoles? That was the question, and at the time those next gen consoles were PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So for the first time ever, they decided to go with an immigrant protagonist to tell this story. Introducing Niko Bellic. Starting a brand new life in Liberty City, Niko will soon find out that you don't just start over and forget about the past. The past stays with you forever like luggage. The overall tone of GTA 4 is so different from all the other games. It's good sometimes and bad in others. The story, the immigrant story trying to make it in the big city, is cliche, but it's something that everybody that comes from a immigrant background, that comes from people who weren't originally from America, can relate to. The bad part about it is that sometimes the overall tone of GTA 4 is less playful and funny and more serious and dreadful and kinda grim. For the first time, again, Rockstar has always been more on the parody side of what society really is. And although, yes, especially coming from New York and not me from Dominican descent, I understand that this is an immigrant story. It's really like, even all the way through the story itself, through the 20-hour plus story, you really do feel like even at the end, there really is no silver lining. There isn't no good message. It's just really dark and almost depressing to a certain degree. But more on that later. The story isn't great. It isn't good, but it's serviceable. It has its moments here and there, which I do applaud. And it's more dreadful crime simulator than parody crime sandbox.
There ain't nowhere left for you to run.
Graphically speaking, GTA 4 holds up pretty darn well at this point in time for 2021. It doesn't have that same colorful nature, saturated feeling of GTA 5. Do keep in mind that it's because of the different settings. It's LA, New York City, San Andreas versus Liberty City. And so you have to get your mind around the fact that Liberty City is based around New York and it's a concrete jungle. It's filled with skyscrapers, subway systems, project housing, and of course, hot dog stands. It is the closest thing we'll ever see to a New York City. And just like New York City, it is amazing at night with really good weather effects. It has this whole urban city vibes, smoke coming out of the sewers, construction sites, and even though you can't really tell about the different boroughs, you can't really tell them apart, they are split in a certain way and have names that you can kind of be like, okay, they're kind of going for Bronx. They're kind of going for Manhattan. And in each and every single borough, you'll actually see different attire. If you go to the Bronx, people are wearing more baggy clothes. They're more relaxed. It's more of a casual fit. If you go to Manhattan, you'll see more suits, more high-end cars. It is really good to see the level of detail and the fashion sense that permeates throughout the whole entire city, from all the way to Queens, what they have considered as Queens, to Manhattan, to Bronx. It is really good. And there's also tons of small details as well. For example, the facial animations are great. The lip sync is great. There's still a lot of little tiny details, like for example, when you receive damage, your actual clothing will have blood on them, and it'll like literally, like, you'll see the wet spot on it. Like little tiny details like that, I absolutely love. And there's even a bit of environmental destruction as well. I really do love how good Rockstar is at adding little details, little tiny details that really make it feel alive. GTA 4 came out in 2008 and it still holds up to this day. It's not gonna be perfect, but it fits the vibe, it fits the setting. It feels like New York City in 2008 at that moment in time, and it is awesome. I absolutely love the fact that it hits almost everything perfectly. It is really good considering its age.
Nico, you ever had two women at once? Or ditties to be playing with?
Yoko, fete romanskaze. What's your name again?
Big mouth prick.
Very catchy. Sit down.
Take no prisoners, right? But, you know, kids need hope. You know what I'm saying?
Not really.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you gotta break some omelets to make some eggs, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and
Yeah, well, you know, we gotta clean up some eggs, brother. We're gonna clean them up, you know?
Rockstar has always been fantastic at audio, and GTA 4 is just another example of it. It's not as iconic as, let's say, a San Andreas, because even though the voice acting, the soundtracks, they are good in GTA 4, they just don't have the same feel that I wish that it had, like in GTA San Andreas. But that also comes down to musical preference. It's not that the audio was delivered badly, it's just that the songs aren't really hitting for me like the way that Radio Los Santos hits for me in GTA San Andreas. The variety of accents, the different accents from Nico to Roman to Jacob's Jamaican and Brucey's frat boy, Royd Head, all the audio is delivered extremely well.
Bull shark testosterone, amigo. Ordered online from Chile. Makes you feel really well.
Hey, be careful, man. I heard that stuff does funny things to your balls.
Hey, do I look like I got funny balls to you?
I haven't considered it.
They didn't skip out on the radio personalities as well. They have Funk Flex on the New York City hip hop, the beat, if I'm not mistaken, is what it's called, beat 102.7. They got DJ Premier to do the classics at 104.1, and they added talk radio. They did a couple of improvements as well. And Liberty City nails New York City to a T. The hustle and bustle of the big city, the chatter.
You're bringing me down, man.
This is not nice.
Straight garbage.
You want love?
This is really bringing me down, man.
The multiple people getting into multiple conversations, and it's just great positional audio as well. You can literally tell when somebody across the street is running from the cops or somebody is right next to you having a conversation about sports. It's done so well, and there's tons of little tiny detail and audio cues as well, like weapon audio, environmental destruction, the potential dates. Depending on the different locations you can take your dates on, they'll all have different comments to make on the location and if they had a good time or not. And there's tons of mini games as well, and there's just still so many different levels of audio in GTA 4 that I absolutely have to applaud them. It's awesome, and at the same time, I am not surprised.
Oh boy. I definitely should be walking home.
Depending on who you ask, GTA 4's gameplay can be good or a mixed bag. Reason being is because GTA 4 takes a lot of steps forward, but takes a lot of steps backwards. So now, let's give you guys a couple of details so you guys don't kill me in the comment section. GTA 4 up until this point had the best shooting. They did a good job with the lock-on. They did a good job with the health displayed in the lock-on. They did a really good job with the cover system. I thought that was a big improvement, not having to go in the middle of the street spraying and hoping that people don't gang up on you and kill you. Like, I thought that was a really good improvement, but at the same time, they took away the different fighting styles. They made combat better, we'll talk about that in a minute, but they took away all the fighting styles that you can have. They took away the leveling up skills, so no more, I can't become a better driver, I can't become a better fighter, I can't build muscle, I can't be a better runner, I can't help my stamina, I can't do any of that. All of that was removed, and they did a terrible thing by removing a lot of the weapons available. I'll give you guys an example. GTA San Andreas has 38 different weapons. GTA 4 only has 16. Look at the decrease, yo. Like, look how much they removed from it, and that part right there is only a little bit. The part that I dislike the most and why it reaches probably mixed bag for me, this is the part that I hate the most. You would think that coming off of GTA San Andreas with that mission design that they would have learned something, but they just went back. All of GTA 4 is all formulaic, it's all archaic. There's no just business here. There's no burning a farm of weed over while the cops go overboard, like overhead, over the farm. There's none of that. There's no, all you had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. There's none of that here. It's all boring, it's stale, it's dull, it's steal this car, ambush here, kill this target, etc., etc. It's so weird. But I should be happy because now GTA 4 has better relationships. That's what I wanted. I always knew that I wanted my GTA to be a dating sim. It's fantastic for that. No, I don't want any of that. You can keep all the relationships. But what I do love, and this actually kind of makes it a little bit better for the story in a certain case, the choice and consequence depending on your mission. So during certain missions, you'll have the choice to kill a certain target or let them go or spare them, and they'll actually reappear in the world, which is actually pretty cool if you do spare them. And that does help the story along a bit because it actually affects your actual ending, which I thought was a good, like, that's a good add. Like, definitely add choice and consequence. And then in GTA 5 they removed that, but hey, we'll talk about that at some other point. This right here was a great ad. Now, some of them don't really have that big of an impact, but some of them really do, and I like that. They also added a couple little details that I absolutely love. For example, the execution mechanic for certain targets. I thought that was cool. It was a nice little detail. How great melee combat became. It became more intuitive. They added dodging, punching, counters, and the ragdoll physics are awesome. They are awfully realistic. It's great. Bullet damage is sustained, and you can see characters limping, not only you but your enemies as well when they receive bullet damage to the legs. And of course, cheats are still here. Everything is awesome. Everything is great to be exploited. There's internet, GPS. They added cell phones, which play a bigger role in this game, and you can tell how GTA 5 grew from the cell phone use of GTA 4. And of course, they added replay buttons. Thank God, replay buttons for missions. As you explore, commit GTA, homicide, get busted, get wasted, get drunk, do fun activities, get invited for some hot coffee, and more on hot coffee. While you're spending time with the relationships, you'll get a plethora of great characters, very likable ones like Brucey and Jacob that will invite you to go smoke some fools or steal a car or play pool. They'll do simple things like that, but then you also have a lot of characters like Michelle that are really not that likable, at least in my personal opinion. The best part about the relationships, let me say this, is the fact that once you get them to a certain point, they unlock bonuses, and that's a thing that they got from GTA San Andreas. Usually, when you actually date somebody, you'll unlock their car, which is dope, or sometimes they'll unlock a little benefit. I love that simple fact. GTA in its entirety, for the 30 hours of mature fun, 40 hours if you decide to do all the side activity, it's really fun. It just, sadly, you can tell that it's missing a lot of the things that made San Andreas very good and just everything that makes GTA 5 great. But GTA 4, I would say, is solid in terms of gameplay.
Oh, you look lonely, baby. Can I dance for you? Well then, let's go. Come with me, Daddy.
Bad. Now, in terms of the PC at least, there's two graphical issues. Number one, there's a stutter that occurs on cutscenes I don't know why. I can't find a way to fix it. Some people online have said that there's a fix. I've done everything in my power to fix it. It doesn't stop. But hey, that's neither here nor there. There's also pop-in, textures loading in when you go too fast or when you come out of buildings. Again, that's livable. I will also have to mention that I am not a fan of the lack of RPG elements being stripped. I already said that. I'm not a fan of how dreadful the story is. I'm not a fan of the mission design itself. And honestly, I'm not a fan of Nico. Nico is just not a likable character. If I were to ever meet Nico, I would run away. Like I would hang out with CJ. I would hang out with Franklin or Michael. Like, they seem like cool dudes. I would not hang around with Trevor. But Nico is just one of the worst. Like, even Claude from GTA 3, he's silent, but hey, I would chill with him. Like, yo, let's grab a beer, let's have a pizza, let's hang out. Like, I would never want to hang around with Nico. Nico is just too depressing of a character, and it's mainly because of the story itself. I would never want to hang out with him. He is definitely, in my personal opinion, the worst GTA protagonist, and yes, he loses to Cloud as well, who doesn't even talk, and that goes along with a very weak antagonist as well. But hey, all of this is remedied in the DLC.
What's up, ladies?
We're in the great melting pot. We're proud Americans.
You are my brother, John. Always.
DLC, and this is where Rockstar got back into form. Now, you split them into two halves that are intertwined into the actual base story, which I absolutely love. I love the fact that they did that. Let's start off with The Lost and the Damned. GTA's first biker gang, Rough Rider playable protagonist Johnny, who is the vice president of his chapter, is trying to keep everything together as his boss tries to relive the glory days after being released from a 15-year prison sentence. The story lacks in decision making, but it's more darker, it's grittier, the mission design is superior to that of the base game, and imagine if GTA 4 had San Andreas' gang war mechanic, and it's more refined. That's what I love about it. It's way more refined. There's tons of little details here, especially like, for example, unique weapons that are unique to Johnny, and again, the tone, the actual missions, everything is superior when it comes to gameplay, at least for Lost and the Damned. It's 22 missions of awesomeness plus side activities. It's very fun, very enjoyable, and the narrative is great, but not as great as The Ballad of Gay Tony, starring Dominican protagonist Luis Lopez. This is GTA at its finest expression, at top tier. It's funny. Characters are all amazing. They're all written well. Luis is extremely likable, contrary to Nico. You can tell that Luis is trying to make a better life for himself, leaving the dope dealing days behind after serving a 2-year sentence. He is trying to do good by himself. He's trying to do good by his mom. He is the best protagonist in my personal opinion. I'm not saying that because he's Dominican, because I'm Dominican too. He is the best protagonist out of the three, in my personal opinion. The best side activities are in this game. It's 10 hours of primetime GTA, and the reception around the community, it sent shockwaves throughout Rockstar, prepping them from what would be GTA 5. Ballad of Gay Tony is by far the best part of GTA 4 Complete Edition. It's fun. The missions are hilarious. They're great. Literally, I, to this day, remember having to hit this one guy with golf balls. Golf balls. And then there's another over-the-top mission right after that, and every single mission is just fun, over the top. There's MMA fights. There's so much here. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ballad of Gay Tony is probably the best DLC, probably the only DLC, along with Lost in the Damned, that Rockstar has ever created. But hey, you're one for one. And to finish off here, before I go ahead and give you guys my conclusion, I wanted to give you guys the importance of GTA 4. GTA 4, regardless of how any of us feel, it might be the most important game for Rockstar. And I'm going to explain to you guys why. After having GTA 4's base game kind of, you know, not really supported as well as San Andreas, even Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, it took them a little bit of, I guess, humbling to know that their fans don't want this type of writing. They don't want this grimness. They don't want this dark attitude. They don't want this very dreadful tone to their games. They want more funny. They want more Mission Impossible. They want the dialogue to be more parody than actual social commentary. But most of all, GTA 4 showed them that they can pull off a 3 protagonists from all different backgrounds, from different motivations, and have them all intertwined into a narrative and have it be successful. It let them know that we wanted more GTA San Andreas and less dark, gruesome storytelling. It gave them so much information that it prepped them for what would be the greatest success story in all of video game history in being GTA 5. That right there is the importance of GTA 4. In conclusion, GTA 4 is not the best GTA by far, but along with GTA San Andreas, I believe that GTA 4 is one of the more important Grand Theft Autos ever to be released. It is that good in what information Rockstar was able to gather, and therefore with the combination of the success of San Andreas and the success of GTA 4 along with that amazing DLC, it turned GTA 4 into what would be without the DLC, it would have been probably a 7 out of 10. I would have probably it's a good game, but it's not something that I'll ever go back to. But with the DLC, GTA 4, the complete edition, scores a 8.5 out of 10. It is a really good game, especially the DLC. You'll know the difference in tone between all three base games. Do keep in mind, Nico gets benefit because he has way more missions than all the other ones, and it's just a longer story. But hey, 10 hours of Ballad of Gay Tony, around 8 hours of Lost in the Dam. They are still great. We're talking about over 100 missions to play, a bunch of side activities, a bunch of relationships to build, and just a great dialogue. And again, I highly recommend Ballad of Gay Tony. Now let's answer the 3 questions, shall we? Is it fun? Is it worth it? And is it for you? Is it fun? It is extremely enjoyable at certain points in time. The DLC is definitely very enjoyable. The tone of the base game might get to you a little bit. You'll be like, wow, this is kind of crappy. But other than that, really fun. There's a lot of really cool missions. There's a lot of really cool side activities. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Is it worth it? You can find this for 20 bucks on PC. 20 bucks on PC, and is backwards compatible on Xbox. So definitely, if you want to check it out on Xbox, by all means do so. But I think the best version is on PC right now. 20 bucks for the whole entire complete edition is a complete steal in my personal opinion. And who is it for? It's for anybody who likes playing open world sandbox adventures, loves crime, loves doing things that it's not supposed to be doing, loves to explore cities, loves Liberty City, loves New York. People who love more or less that type of game, the Saints Rows of the world, the Grand Theft Autos, previous Grand Theft Autos of the world, you'll definitely love Grand Theft Auto 4. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and make sure to share the video. Also, keep in mind, after each and every single review, I put up a poll and you guys get to decide what the next game is. The next game has already been decided, but you get the one on top of that. Next game would be Sleeping Dogs, so keep in mind, please check out the polls. They'll be on the community page, on the community tab on the YouTube channel. Definitely check that out, participate, make your voice be heard, and I'll definitely review a complete edition of a game that you guys desire. I'll usually give around 4 to 5 options. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Links are down in the description below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting me there. $1 a day keeps the landlord away. I'm your host, Mike Fury. It's been a complete pleasure. Until next time, Mike, off.